You.
I purposely didn't ask you or talk to you about the grizzly bear attack because I wanted to save it.
You want it? You want
What is it like to have survived, literally being 2 feet away from an attacking grizzly bear?
Pretty close.
Like you could have grabbed it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Easily.
Oh, that was just nuts. It was one of those things. Okay, I've thought about it a million times.
I'm sure. How long ago was this?
So that would have been early October or mid-October.
So you've had 3 months.
3 months to kind of think about it. Yep. And yeah, man, it's just one of those things that I've thought about it so many times in my head. And I've always been, I think Steve was the same way, like, oh, it'd be pretty cool to survive a bear attack, get scratched up a little bit. After that experience, I thought to myself, if that never happens again, I'll be okay.
Yeah, Steve used to always say, Steve Rinella, we're talking about from the Meat Eater podcast, and he has a 2-part series on this particular bear attack. But he used to always say he wanted to get clawed across the chest and have like, not a tattoo, but like a big claw.
Yes.
I'm like,
a little bit of marking.
Like, what are the odds that that happens?
Yeah, I think that in order to get that, you have to go through a really, really horrible experience. Yeah. And there's guys that have had those attacks, or there's guys that have had those attacks a lot. But
yeah,
I mean, I've been around a lot of wild animals and seen a lot of things and been charged by bears. And this was just different. It was that kind of attack where while it's happening, you're going, this is not going to pan out well. Somebody's going to die. You're just looking at this bear and it's coming in hot and just everything. It's a weird experience. Your memory's a little foggy of it. Everything happened so fast, but it felt like it was so long.
So the adrenaline just must overwhelm your brain.
So. Yeah. And you don't even think about, I just remember it was a weird situation. So maybe I'll just kind of recap the story. So we're on a Fognac Island, and we're hunting.
And a Fognac Island is
off
Alaska.
of Kodiak. Yeah. So a Fognac Island has some of the largest bears in the world. They're brown bears. They are big brown bears. They can be over 1,000 pounds. So we're hunting elk there. My brother and myself have hunted elk on that island before, and it's just a miserable place to be.
What's a fascinating hunt, the way you guys were describing it, because just the fact that you would choose out of all the places you can go, you pretty much can go anywhere you want.
Yeah.
You chose to go on this brutal adventure hunt because it's so difficult and because because like Rinella was talking about this once, and the way he described it is like there's things that are fun while you're doing them, but they're not fun later, like roller coasters.
Yeah.
And then there's things that are terrible and awful, but you'll think about them forever and look back at them fondly.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is. It's that, after the fact, you think back and you go, in the moment, you go, I will never do this again. And then about a year later, you go, I should do that again. It's weird.
And what is it about the place that's so miserable?
Well, it's hard to walk through. It looks easy hiking, and there's just this big mountain where you can get to with a plane. You've kind of got to climb this big mountain, and the vegetation is so thick and it's so steep that it takes forever to go somewhere. So to put it in perspective, to go, say, a mile might take 5 hours.
Whoa.
That's how much like a mapped mile.
Yeah.
So the way the crow would fly, if you're just going a mile, and then another distance could take you half that time or a quarter of that time, but there's a big mountain in between where you need to go, plus the vegetation, and it's really steep. So you've got all that kind of working against you. Plus you can't really walk in just a straight line there. You've got to navigate around all kinds of stuff.
And there's you from, play some of this, Jamie.
That was...
It's been destroyed, and this is just a rough day. Real rough.
So that was after the bear attack.
Right afterwards.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out, because right after the bear attacked, I pulled out my phone and was just kind of like recording everyone's reactions. And then I put it on my Instagram story. But I'll try to find it tonight and I'll post it onto I'll figure out a way to
Instagram
stitch
stories,
it together.
They let you save them now.
Now they do. Yeah, this was like 3 weeks before that, unfortunately.
So this place is miserable. It's rainy all the time.
Rainy, high winds.
Thick, dense vegetation and literal monsters.
Yeah, I mean, giant bears. And then big, the elk are probably... What do they weigh? They can weigh up to 1,400 pounds, these elk. So the
Which
size
is
of moose.
way bigger.
Yeah, it's like the size of 2 normal elk, weight-wise. Because like an average elk would probably be around 500 pounds in most places.
A really big one, like we were talking about the California ones at Tajon, sometimes can get to 1,000.
Yeah.
This is another 400 pounds bigger
Exactly.
than that.
It's a lot. That's a big animal.
Giant animal.
And there's bears that eat those giant animals. So those bears are giant. The bears can be over 1,200, 1,500 pounds themselves. 11 feet or more. Yeah.
11 feet?
11 feet. It's nuts. 11-foot bear.
No. This one that attacked you guys, how big do you think it was, if you had to guess?
I would say, well, I would say it's 11 and a half feet because, because actually after we went in there, my friend who's a pilot there and dropped us off, he called me about a week or two later. He's like, they shot that bear that went after you guys. Somebody went in there, same place, bear attacked them. They killed it in self-defense. It was 11 and a half feet, and I think almost 1,200 pounds. So there's very good odds that that was the same bear. I would imagine that it was. There's very, I mean,
because it was
just
the same area.
Same area.
Probably had taken over that area.
Seemed about the same size. When it came in, I thought that's a big boar. It wasn't one of those ones you think, oh, that's a. It looked like a big mature animal. In the piecing together what happened in my mind later, but yeah, so we're hunting elk on this island. Steve ends up getting an elk. We hang it in a tree. We do all the stuff you're supposed to do, get the meat away from the carcass. But we had yet to see a bear up until this point. And when my brother and I went in there a few years earlier, we just saw bears every day. We'd see 6 bears a day. So your mind's just bear, bear, bear when you're seeing them all the time. When you aren't seeing them all the time, you get a little lax. And that's where we really screwed up. Because the attack went down, no one was prepared. We were just sitting around having some sandwiches, and we're filming, and there was 6 of us all together. And I think that large group, that 6, is what saved us, because when the bear ran in, it was 6 of us sitting kind of in like a semicircle, a strange circle. And when that bear came in, we did that scatter effect, and I think that scatter was kind of like if a lion's going after a zebra, they use their numbers and stripes to confuse the lion. Is that scattering of things just going everywhere that caused confusion for the bear. So I think the bear went in thinking, whatever's under that tree, I'm going to kill it. And it thought it was one thing. And then when we blew up into 6 different pieces, it just tried to kill everything at once and couldn't actually get one person.
God, that's so lucky.
Yeah, it was crazy because we're sitting down. We decided, we'll have lunch before we hike back, because the day before we hiked a long ways. We got back to camp at 3 in the morning or something. I can't remember, 2 or 3 in the morning. We'd barely eaten, so everyone was just thinking, let's have lunch, regroup.